Hopefully you can enjoy these 2 hours of visit. Yesterday, a lot of viewers are very curious about the Tuvans, and they're very curious about the culture of the Tuvans. Let's take a look of this small village. This is the village where the Tuvans live in. You can see these wooden houses. These are the places where they're living in. So there are around 2,000 Tuvans originally in China, which spread in around 9 villages in China. First, I would like to give you a bird's-eye view of this beautiful village. This is quite small a village, has only around 300 households, and around 1,500 people living here. And most of them are Tuvans, and some of them are actually Kazakhs. So for generations, Tuvans living in this small village, hidden in the forest, under the Italic forest. That's why people sometimes call them the people from the forest. They also living in a very ancient way. Let's take a look at these wooden houses. Look far away, you can also see the Kanas River. It is very famous and beautiful in China. So the depth of the Kanas River is around 197 meters. So in local language, Kanas means mysterious and beautiful. Let's see, we can see so many households distributed in this area. It's just like you are in a fairy tale. So for Tuvans, they're living a nomadic life and earn a living on hunting. However, in order to protect the wild animals, nowadays the Tuvans stop earning a living on hunting. Instead, they start to develop the tourism in order to earn a living. In the past, people just live in these wooden houses, but now they change these houses into bed and breakfast, or they would like to open a restaurant to attract the tourists. You can see it is quite unique for the design of the house. And for each household, they have a small garden, and also they put a lot of fences on the household. This is quite traditional for Tuvans. Before they start to build a house, they would like to set up the fences first. Now we're at the destination. I would like to introduce you a new friend, and he's a local in this area. This is a small basket for flowers. It's very easy to recognize his house. Hello, good afternoon. And this is my new friend, Batu. And he lives here since he was a child. So he is an indigenous people from this area. You can see he has a really long name, but you can call him Batu for short. This is Batu's house. And you can see they have made some upgrade for this household. And now they're actually doing some business here, and 4 families are living together. So for Tuvans, they're actually a branch for the Mongols. So they are still belong to the Mongolia nationality, but they are Tuvas. Let's take a closer look on this wooden household. These are logs. So they put the original logs and pile up together to build a house. So what is this one? Well, sometimes you want to hang something and you probably have to put a nail there. And also we have some thatch in between the logs. So here you can hang your clothes and other things with this nail. You can see the technique of building this household is quite ancient. So first of all, you have to cut the logs. And in between, you put the thatch in between the logs. I'm not sure if you get what Batu was saying, and I want to further introduce you the thatch that was put in between the logs. They're not using cement or like plasters. They just use this thatch in order to put all of these logs together. When the thatch is dry, they will put it in between the logs after raining, so the house will be built with the thatch. And actually it is quite ventilating in this wooden house. When you are dismantling the log, actually you can tell which log is which. Yes, we do number these logs, and when we move to a new place, we can put all of these logs back together and rebuild the house. So I would say this is a movable house, so you can bring it anywhere you want. First of all, you just mark the logs, and after you relocate to a new place, you can resemble the wooden house. So how long it takes for you to build such a house? So it takes around 3 men to work for 10 days to build this wooden house. And what you need is just one axe. Except for the mobile house that we are talking about here, and some of the yield can also be taken away. And as you are living on the grassland, so it is not easy for you to find this kind of wood. That's why you have to remember how to assemble these woods in order to make a house. And actually you can feel the fragrance of the pine tree. All of these wood are actually cutting from the pine tree. Let's take a look at this one. This is actually a wedding room. I can still smell the fragrance of this room. So when people getting married, are they going to come here and rent this wedding house? No, this one is just for bed and breakfast. We will provide this to our tourists. So what are the differences for the marriage traditions in Tuvas Village? Well, it is quite different. For Mongols, probably they don't like this kind of style. But we made some renovation for this one. And the way how we make the bed is quite different from the Mongols. And also we prepare different gifts. For example, we will prepare a saddle. For example, for my son-in-law, I will give him a saddle as a gift. So from what I have seen here, I can tell for this family, they are actually sending their daughter away. And also we prepare a lot of gifts. And also we can see some traditional costumes from the Mongolian nationality. And also you can see the cradle is also a best wishes for them. It's very beautiful for these patterns. And for the tubers, they also want to hang out this kind of blankets. So this is all handmade embroidery. So for the daughters from a Tuvas, they have to learn how to make embroidery since a child. So they know how to prepare these costumes. And for this one is used for cook the milk wine. First of all, we have to boil the pot, and then we put the milk after it heat up to certain temperature, and then we have to pour it out. So we put the milk in another container. Well, this is a very traditional way to make the milk wine. This is yogurt. So we are making this milk wine with yogurt. So I have to mix it properly. So what is the function to blend it? If you mix it evenly, so the milk wine will taste much better. In the past, we don't have machines, so we depend on men to mix the wine. So for this technique, we're trying to separate the egg oil. So this one is made from cowhide. So I think for this container, you can make 10 kilogram to 20 kilogram of milk wine. Some viewers are asking what is this bag? For this bag is made from one whole piece of cowhide. Can you give us more information about the function of this bag? So we are separating the cream and the egg oil, and we are ready for the fermentation of the milk wine. Well, it's not easy to do it by hand. So currently, I think many few people are doing this because it is too outdated. Wow, I can already smell it. It seems very tasty. So we do see a lot of considerable details. And all of these are designed very carefully. We have just poured the yogurt into the pot. And here we have a wooden barrel. So, how many yogurt you need to make 1 kilogram of milk wine? Probably you need 2 to 3 yogurt in order to make 1 kilogram of milk wine. So probably you need 7 to 8 kilograms of milk in order to make 1 kilogram of milk wine. So for the milk wine, it can be dated back to the spring and autumn state.
哇，满满都是这个酸奶的香味儿。我给大家普及一下这个奶酒的尝试，因为我昨天过来跟巴图聊天的时候，巴图就跟我说的这个，其实。
Yesterday, I went here and have a casual conversation with Batu, and he also told me that there are many processes included in this wine making. When we are pouring the milk, we are calling it egg. That's the local language. So I actually write it up, the whole process. Can you see it clearly? So it takes like 4 steps, and also write the local language to represent the process.
营养是怎么来的呢？就是其实它是提炼它的这个，一会儿我们可以看到，应该是它的这个蒸馏的机器啊。
So later he will demonstrate us the whole process. It's actually the demonstration of the distillation of the wine. The alcohol degree of this kind of milk wine is quite low. But if you keep distillating the milk wine, the alcohol content will increase. For example, if you keep distillating the wine for like 5 or 6 times, and the proof will reach 20 to 48 degrees. That will be really high. But if the wine can have been only passed the distillation for 1 time, you can get more glasses. So what is the function for this wooden barrel? It is also the tool to make the milk wine. After we boil the yogurt, and later we will cover the wooden barrel. Now it is empty. And this one is quite hollow. We don't see any cover of this wooden barrel. Well, we will do it like this. But we have to wait until the yogurt boils. And we can put other things on top of this wooden barrel. Now we're waiting for the distillation. I can see some cracks on this wooden barrel. Now we put another larger pot, and we put cold water inside the pot. The reason why we put cold water is to condense the steam from the yogurt. And this is the way how we get the milk wine in the end. Well, it must take a really long time. How long it takes to make 1 pot of milk wine? Well, it takes around 2 hours. So maybe by the end of the live streaming, we can get a taste of the milk wine. Thank you.
奶疙瘩在北方的这个少数民族当中特别多，是吧？也是，尤其是在游牧民族当中，最早的游牧生活当中，它是
we can see all of these
这个，你这个哪个的？跟哈萨克族的哪个？
milk cracks. So what is the difference from the Tuvas milk crack compared to the Hasek's milk crack? This is quite different because the way we make it is different. I can already taste some of the wine from this milk crack. And we have a small museum here. And you can see we put some of the knives and some of the working tools here. So in the past, the Tuvas also grow some wheat. We will put wheat inside. And we will try to make a kind of cake using this. And this one is a stone mill. We can make flour from this. So we put the wheat there and we start to make the wheat. This is the snowboard. You can see some of the furs are covered by the snowboard. And I think so far we can only find this kind of snowboard with firms in Tuvas Village. There is a legend that in the past, while people are chasing against the animals, they are using this kind of fur-covered snowboard. This is actually the origin of the skiing. This is actually the hair, the skin from my horse. So it is very protective for this snowboard and also very convenient for the skiing. And when you are going upward the hill, it has a resistance force, so it can help to protect you. And for this one, it's in different color. So we can see a variety of the snowboard here, but each one of them have a different function. So for Kanas Valley, over 6 to 7 months are in winter. So it is quite normal that people will take off the ski board outside. So this can be considered as the transportation vehicle for them. In the past, Kanas Valley is open for tourism in summer, but now this is a very good tourist site all over the year. Especially in winter, you can actually have a try of these fur-made skiing tools. And in winter, we also organize this kind of skiing competition. And we also have archery competition in winter. So everyone can participate in this kind of activities. And also there are a specialized memorial ceremony hosted here on the first day of the Spring Festival. And Tuva's people are also like worshipping the good relations between human and nature. They would like to pay tribute to the nature. We have a lot to discover today. Now I see a large one. And for these skis, the length is 10.5 meters. And the width of this one is 60 centimeters. Do you apply for a Guinness record for this one? I think this is a very large ski. So we are using 12 horse skin to make this. So we are using the horse skin from 12 horses to make such a large ski. Well, it's such a picturesque scenery here. It's very beautiful. Well, I can see some introduction about this one. You can see 5 pillars for this ski. And the highest point is 6 meters, the lowest point is 5 meters, and the width is around like 70 centimeters, and it used around like 100 pine woods to make it. And a lot of historians coming here to check this ski. And they believe that the sport of skiing is actually originated in this area. It is even earlier that it was found in Switzerland and Norway. Now people stop hunting and people will not use this kind of ski. But people can still use this for transportation. We can demonstrate this kind of sports to the visitors. And we offer this opportunity to the visitors. Can you further introduce about this site? We found this place in 2014. At that time, we have 10 organizers for this, what we call it, the cooperation site. And we have 10 families working together to build out this site. At the beginning, people would like to earn a living by hunting, but now we all work together in order to develop the tourism. Did you earn a lot of money for this? Yes. So what is the revenue last year per household? Well, that varies. Some people like earning a lot, but for some families, probably they can only earn like 20 to 30,000 RMB per year. This one, it shows the Kanas Village. It's a tourist agency. Can we get inside? So you can see this shoe cover is quite unique. They're using cloth to make it. It's not plastic bags. It's very environmental friendly. This is Shuizheng. This is Liang Yang, also our cameraman.
我们进这个家访点的时候都需要把这个手机调成静音，因为一会儿我们要欣赏非常非常好听的。
Now we're entering into this agency. We will mute our phones.
大家好。
And pretty soon we will be appreciating very traditional and ancient music. Hello everyone, we are from CCTV. And today we are bringing our viewers the live streaming at Tuvas Village. So would you mind we join you? So everyone have their milk tea. So welcome everyone. So I would like to give you some introduction about the history of our Tuvas Village and also introduce you about the horsehead fiddle.
其实现在已经开始了这个巴图家的一个家访的活动，我想呢，还是我们把这个现场呀。
Currently, this event is actually happening right now. So maybe we give the time to the host. So she's also the tour guide here, and we also want to enjoy the music here. China has only less than 3,000 tourist people. And for the Tuba Republic of the Russian Federation, they have around 300,000 people. So at the beginning, some of the people are actually migrating from Siberia. And also some archaeologists consider that we are the ancestors of the Indus. But we would like to consider ourselves as the descendant of the soldiers during the Western expedition of Genghis Khan. So that's why you can see the poster, the flag of Kyrgyzstan is hanging everywhere. And for Tuvas, we have our own language, the Tuvas language. When we are talking with each other in Tuvas, so the Mongols will not understand us. But when we are writing, we will write Mongols. However, for Tuvas people, they are mastering around 5 to 6 different languages. But when we are talking to each other, we will use the Tuvas language. And sometimes we do speak the Kazakh language because 70% of this Tuvas nationality are Kazakhs. And sometimes we also speak Mongolia language when we talk to the Mongols. But now we start to master the Mandarin. I try my best to speak in Mandarin. I don't know whether you understand. But I would like to use some of my local language to greet you. First, I will speak Tuvas language. This is the way how we greet. You have to pay attention to the tone and the way how you pronounce. This means hello. But if you speak Mongolia language, hello is different. Now I will speak in Kazakh language. And for Uyghurs and for the Tuvas, actually these languages are part of the Altaic languages. That's why some of the time we can see the languages are in common, but still there was some differences in each one of them. And I would like to talk about the festivals that we are having. The first one is the Spring Festival. That is the grand festival we are having. The second one is the Aobao Festival. And the third one is the Winter Festival. And also we have a specialized marriage ceremony between the Tuvas. But sometimes Tuvas would like to marry another Tuvan. They probably would not marry someone from another group. For example, they may not marry someone from the Kazakh. So that's just a very brief introduction. Thank you for your introduction. So I would like to ask you a question. We can see there was so many posters or flags hanging here, and for this one is a figure of Genghis Khan. And for Tuvas, they consider themselves as the descendant of the soldiers from the Western expeditions of Genghis Khan. So when you are visiting this area, please pay attention to this one, the ski. This is actually the most convenient vehicle that we are using for transportation in winter. And we are using the skiing from the horse. And horse skiing can help you to control the speed and direction when you are traveling with this kind of ski. And as we just talked about, that this kind of ski has a resistant force, so you can easily use this kind of ski to climb up the mountains, and it's quite safe. And the origin of this kind of ski is actually also from the Tuvas Village. And I just realized a kind of a ancient light. Are you still using this kind of lamp nowadays? Let's take a look at this one. In the past, we call this like a horse lamp. But nowadays, we just use this kind of lamp as a decoration. Now we are about to serve the horse milk wine. So, one per person. Have you tasted before? No. How do you feel about this place? We are very curious about this place. You can see we also bring our kids here. We're actually coming from Taiwan. It's kind of quite a long distance just to experience this. How do you feel? I think the scenery here is quite similar to New Zealand. The scenery is quite similar to Switzerland. Wish you a pleasant journey. Before we drink this horse milk wine, I would like to briefly introduce about the technique and the making of the milk wine. First, we get the horse milk. So when we are making this, we are actually using the fresh milk. First of all, we have to change the milk into yogurt for fermentation. And then you put this milk into a large pot for boiling. And then you put another pot on top of this device. And you put some cold water on top of the device. And later on, we will use the cold water to condensate the steam that are coming from the yogurt. But sometimes we have to consider the temperature. Sometimes if you do a lot of distillation of the wine, so the alcohol proof will reach 20 to 48 proof. And sometimes people are saying that if you get too much of this milk wine, you cannot even walk back home. So this is actually a tradition from the Mongolian nation. So we always talk about that. We eat a lot of meat and we drink a lot of wine. That's what they're drinking actually. So let's raise the glass. Use your left hand. And for the right hand, please make this kind of gesture. So this is actually a ceremony for you to drink the milk wine. So she's proposing the toast with the guest. And in the end, you will put your fingers on your forehead. And you have to say it silently. Do not speak it out. To wish you good luck. But now I would like to sing a song. And later on, you can drink the wine. If you know about the song, you can sing along with me. Please raise your glass. So I will teach you how to say bottoms up. It tastes very good. Actually, it's okay for you to take only 1 or 2 glasses.
什么味道啊？什么味道？
第一口没什么味道啊，第二口之后就觉得味道
How do you feel?
酸的。
像水，像水是吧？
For the first sip, I cannot feel anything, but for my second sip, it's a little bit strong.
欢迎远方的
It
亲
tastes good.
人到新疆，到喀纳斯。
Welcome to Xinjiang. Welcome to Kanas.
淡淡的奶香味儿，有淡淡的奶香味儿，蛮好喝的。
You can taste the flavor of the milk. It's very refreshing.
下面是我们的章节的部分，现在开始我们这个家访的最主要的环节，聆听这个天籁经出耳朵去做。首先，我给大家
Now we come to the most important part.
介绍完了以后，大家可以聆听我们这个乐器啊。首先，我给大家拽一拽，看一下。
So now I would like to play the
这个
instrument.
乐器千万不要捏啊，它比较脆，比较薄啊，这是它的原材料。
So I will pass this around. Please take a look on this instrument. Be careful, it's a little bit fragile for this kind of
这是
instrument.
做出乐器的，这是原材料，原材料你们拽着看一下，然后这是我们的乐器啊，慢一点拿啊，对，
This is the raw material to make the instrument. Be careful about it.
对，特别轻，特别薄啊。
It's quite light and fragile.
乐器的啊，给大家先看完，然后我给大家介绍什么材质做的啊，对，好了，来给我小朋友，来，好可爱，
这个我也给大家看一下，给我们的网友看一下，就是他拿的这个乐器看，其实就是这种苇科植物的杆儿做的，这个叫。
So first we take a look at this instrument.
这个乐器它有个非常古老的名字叫
This is the
图瓦
instrument.
然后这个乐器就是这样。
So we call it
上面有
图
3
耳
个眼儿，但是它可以用这
The
3个
ancient
眼儿
name of this
开5个
instrument.
音或者6个音。这
It
个
looks
古老的乐
pretty
器
much
叫
like a
中国
flute.
器乐的
It
活化石
has only 3 holes on this
它
this
非
one,
常的独特，它的吹法也不一样。
but you can create 5 tunes
还给我们的导游。
with this one. So later we can appreciate the music of this instrument.
曼达拉西只能长在我们对曼达拉西只能长在我们这个阿拉泰树上面的一个植物，它长的树高度是依然一般高度。
So for this kind of bamboo, you can also find it in the Italic region.
这个植物长的时候里面是没有脑的，这是我们操控的。
After it is getting dry, we will cut it off.
大约在60公分左右。每一个烟组织的比火两耳做的，按它的整
And for the length of this instrument, it is around 60 centimeters.
一扎、两扎、三扎、四指，四指是打一个月孔，
So I'm measuring how long it is.
再大约3个月孔发的是5个音。
So this is how we dig the hole for this instrument. 3 holes, but we can create 5 tunes.
就是这个植物的名字叫芒达勒奇，那这个乐器叫什么？
So this is the name for the plant.
50呀35底下一个20奥拉扎就3个字。
So for the name of this instrument, we call it 图耳.
唯一的继承人康纳斯当的一句老人，这个老人的
图耳 is the name for this instrument.
好多媒体采访过他。不过不幸的是，06年冬天，这个老人去世了以后，他的儿子这个戳子唯一的继承人。
So
继续的时候需要一
an
定
elder man created this kind of instrument, and his son learn how to make this kind of instrument. Well, actually, it needs hard work for you to make this kind of instrument. First of all, you have to pick a hollow bamboo, and then you have to check the sound of this bamboo to find out whether it is suitable to make an instrument.
会这个乐器的人不到20位，不过全是个年轻人，因为这个乐器是没有谱子的，只能。
Less than 20 people know how to play this kind of instrument.
儿子这个戳的唯一的继承人。现在我们这边这个20位年轻小伙子，全是败家师傅学习这个乐器。下面我们这个20位年轻小伙子们，其中一个小伙子给大家。
So in the past, there were only one ancestor who knows how to play this kind of instrument. And today we are very happy to have a successor who can perform this kind of instrument to us. So this gentleman called Zhu Xi, and he's 24-year-old. So now we will give the time to him to enjoy the performance. Have you ever heard humai is actually a throat singing? So I'm combining the performance of the instrument as well as the throat singing. I will do it again.
谢谢。
好棒啊！好棒。
Thank you.
谢谢谢谢，你叫什么名字？
我叫中西。
So later on, I will also performing the throat singing.
说过你的名字，你就是中西。
What's your name? 中西。
中西是我们非物质文化遗
I
产。
heard about your name yesterday.
很年轻，20多岁就会这个，因为除了
So he's actually a successor of intangible cultural heritage.
我们全中国
He's quite young.
多少人？
Because I know very few people knows how to
14个人，在咱们这儿
perform
全国我
除二。
之前听他们告诉我一个数字，可能也就是不
In
足100
China,
人就特别少的人。
we have only 14 people who know how to play the instrument.
其实跟吹笛子不太一样，
So very few people can do it.
吹奏乐它可能都是这个嘴是闭
So
或者半闭合
it is quite different when you play this instrument.
张着的是吧？张着的。对。
So pay attention to his mouth. Actually, he keep his mouth open when he's playing the 除二.
.是这样，真的特别的神奇。其实我这2天呢，来到这个图瓦村落之后，我也就专门去跟
Very
这个
magical.
年长的人请教了一下，
I have
去
been
研究
here
了一下
for
这个
around
除耳的吹法。
2
它
days,
其实吹法呢就特
and
别
I
不同，
talked
是
to
分
a
为
lot
2
of
种。
people
它是有2种
and
声
trying
音
to
是吧
learn
吹出来是
how to
这个
play
我们
this
听到的这
除二.
个旋律实际上是有2个声音，一个声音呢是从这个喉咙发出
Actually,
来
we
的
can
这个
hear 2
触感
sound
这种
of
正
除二
常音是吧？然后就非常低的这种状，还有一
So
种呢就是
one
用这个
sound
舌
is
尖
actually
控
coming
制
out
进入
from
这
your
个除耳的
throat.
气量，它控制这个大小，所以
And the other
一个呢是
sound
由这个喉咙发出的这种震颤音
is actually
一个呢
coming
是
out
由
from this
这种舌
instrument
尖吹出
directly.
来的这个旋律，所以这个音乐才
So you're
这么
actually
独特。
combining
这
the
样出来以后
throat
是感觉
singing
情
as well as the
景
instrument.
交融是吧？就是人在大自然
That's
当中
why-
的这种和谐共生的
That's
这种
why
感觉。
除二 is quite
更多
unique.
是大自然的声音，是吧？
更多时候就是大自然的声音。
And when you're hearing the melody of this kind of instrument, you're feeling that as if you were in the
真
natural.
的是特别的难得。那刚刚我们
So
刚才
you
说的
can
那个
hear
呼麦
the
呢它
sound
其
of
实
wind,
也是一
the
种喉
river,
音艺术，
everything.
也是从喉咙里发出来的声音。
从喉咙发出来的，跟这个
And he just talked about humai.
一起发出来。
It's a kind of throat singing.
2 种
The sound is coming out from your
声音的
throat.
这种状态。一种也是从喉咙里出来的，一种
So you have to
也是要
control
需要这
the
个声调
sound
来
you are
调节这个
making
口
when
腔
you are
动物的
playing
这个
this
声音
instrument.
是吧？那一种是低声的声音，一种是高音的声音。
One sound is from the throat, and the other sound from the instrument. You have to control the sound with the tip of your
他们
tongue.
一会儿来吗？
他马上就来了。
哦，行行行，那个等他们来
So
了以
in
后，我
total,
们可
there
能还
are
能欣
like
赏到
5
其他的
people
这个音乐
who
是
can
吧
do this kind of instrument.
那他们什么时候来呀？我
So
去
maybe
看看
later on we can get more performance.
哎，已经来了。你好，
I see they're coming right now.
你好。我们这几个小伙伴儿，都是咱们当地的图瓦人，都是图瓦青年。先给大家介绍一下这几种乐器。
So for all of these gentlemen, they're actually
传统乐器代表乐器，
indigenous people from Tuva Village.
马头琴。
And for this one, it's very traditional. It is the horse head fiddle. This is a single string instrument, so I will play this along with the throat singing and 除耳. And what about this one? This is a goat skin drum. So previously, we see some of the drum are covered with the cow hide, but we are using the goat hide. And we also put some bells here. And also cover this with some of the horse fiddle. So you can see the sound, the beat of the drum. The sound is quite unique. And this is the guitar. Also this one. Last time I was here, I also heard the performance of this group. So when they're performing, you're not only hearing the sound of the instrument, they will also do some throat singing. And also they will imitating some sound. For example, they will imitate the sound of a bird or sound of some animals of the forest. So again, please mute your phone. So I will get closer. This must be really brilliant. So what's the name of your band? It's called 扎拉特. So I just write down some names. The first one, 芒达勒西, is actually the raw material to make 除耳. And 扎拉特 is actually the Mongolian language for the raw material of the 除耳. So I will find a place to put my phone. Now the time is yours. This is of our first song. This is a song for mothers. And this song to you, all of the mothers present today.
소호지게 현지 타이즈에 산나가나 모로라 할락스 미리긴데레 모로선에 모도나 나헬나 날 보게 내 웃어놨어 내 웃어놨어 내가 너보다 쏘아 내가 너보다 쏘지 항상 나의 죄는
Just now you hear the sound of the throat singing. And for a next song, it's a very traditional folk song. We will also using a throat singing, and the theme of this song is about horse.
징그레 쉬는 속도 징글 징글 이른 알파 사람 서도 일들 유래 징글 징글
接下来这首歌呢是一首思念故乡的一首歌啊。那这首歌的名字叫《金秋阿尔泰》。
Next song is about homesick.
这首歌我希望大家闭眼去聆听，去感受。谢谢。
So maybe you can close your eyes to enjoy the music.
我觉得我已经不能用语言来形容我此时此刻的心情。刚才真的是沉浸在这个。
I cannot describe how I feel right now.
有一种感触。我们待会儿去找找我们这些。
I'm completely immersed in the music. I feel very touching.
好，先展示跟他们道个别。我刚刚看您。
Later on, I will find these boys.
您听有什么感受呢？
听很好。
So I think you're really enjoying the music. How do you feel?
感觉很不错的。
以前有听过这样的音乐吗？
没有，第一次听到。
Very touching song.
用天籁之声来形容他们。
I've never heard this kind of music before.
唱的这种方式。
It's the sound from heaven.
奏和演唱的音乐，您觉得合适吗？
他们很棒，真的是天籁之声那种感觉。
I think they're brilliant. It is the sound from the heaven.
那个真的是，我想带大家再去认识一下这些加拉特兄弟的乐队的兄弟们。走，我们去找他们。再见。
It's quite impressive. I will try to find them.
你知道他们把这个得留下。你知道他们去哪儿了吗？哦，太好听了。
Do you know where they're going?
好听了。
I want to interview some of them.
你们这边还有其他的项目吗？
没有啊，最后一个环节是跳个舞，大家一起互动。
哦，跳你们。
Any other performance?
这个蒙古族的。
Well, the last section, it's a group dance.
自己的舞蹈吗？
我们这个舞蹈也是，因为
We will do a group dance, a Mongolian dance.
也是我们的舞蹈。
我看今天看大家穿的这个服饰。
Actually, Tuba group is part of the Mongolia group.
人穿的这个服饰跟他们有稍微的不同吗？
And for the costume, it's actually the Mongolia costume.
你也是图瓦。
Is it different from the costume from the Tuvans? Well, it's quite similar.
这是星星之火。
Myself is actually a Tuvan.
行，那客人出来了，我就不打扰你了。
Okay, so the visitors are here.
那个乐队的兄弟吗？换一下吗？
So we will try to find the band.
为了整个那个乐曲的收声，我们专门换了一个话筒，换了小蜜蜂。那我们他们在这儿。你好。我特别想知道你们会做那个楚耳吗？
Hello.
你自己会做吗？
那个乐器做起来特别简单。
Do you know how to make chuar?
对对对。
Actually, it's very easy to make chuar.
对，乱掏就音就错。
It has only 3 holes on the instrument, but you have to find out the exact location to dig out those holes. Otherwise, the sound and the tunes will be affected. You have to control your breath when you are playing the chuar.
看看怎么做吗？
Maybe we can get one of the chuar and take a
我
look
想
on
知道你
that.
们平时这个演出仅限于在这个图瓦村落吗？还是也有走出去过？
So for you guys, you only do performance here, or do you guys do performance outside of the village?
去深圳演出。
But during summer, we will stay in Kanas region, and we used to travel to Shenzhen for a performance.
那你们觉得大家对你们演奏的这些音
And
乐？
the purpose of the trip is to promote the culture of the Kanas Valley.
我来我们家做客的都是
How do you feel about the music?
听了他们的反馈以后，他们大家都说
Sometimes there may be some guests stay in my house,
大家都非常
and they
喜欢
speak highly of the music.
那个，我觉
They
得
love it.
学
They
这个东西
consider
很
it
不
as
容易
the
啊
sound
尤
of
其
the
是那个
heaven.
他们这个吹这个楚耳，一般要学几
I
年才
think
能
it's
学成？
very difficult
这
to
个还
master
是看
the
个人
skill.
每个人的学习的
How
程度
long it
不一
takes
样
for you to
啊
learn how to play the instrument,
一般来说，
that
一般
depends.
来说的话，
Different people have different
如果说快一
capability.
点的话
So
2
what
到
is
3周
average?
你就可以
这么
吹响
快就能
2到3周，你可以吹响它，只是说吹
On
响，
average,
然后你还
if
得去
if you're good
继
enough,
续去练。
You can make a sound from the chu'er in 2 to 3 weeks, but you are just making a sound, but it's very difficult to play a melody from
都
chu'er.
是这个非遗的传承人啊，就是你们在传承这个文化的时候，觉得还有什么
So,
难度吗？
as you are all the successors of intangible cultural heritage, when you are passing down this cultural heritage, what are the challenges that you are facing right now?
内蒙古去学习这个
For myself, I
学习
loved
马头琴
music when I was a kid,
传承
and
我
I
们是喜
studied
欢
in
传承
Mongolia and learned how to play horsehead fiddle.
这个
就还没有系统的
For myself, I think I love these things,
是这样。
but
挺可惜
speak
的，我
of
觉得
the
这种传统文化的传
inheritance,
承和保护，确实
probably
除了他们
I
自己
think
的喜
I
爱之
haven't
外，还
think
需要
too
一种
much.
系统的传播，是吧？去让更多的人去
For this intangible cultural heritage, we does need
好呢。
a
哎，我看那个
systematic
他叫什么名字？那个拿
approach
出耳
to
的那个
protect and
播客
preserve
播客
this cultural heritage.
播客这个。哦，
And
那
Borka
你
is
可以
holding chu'er.
材料原植物你们看了吧？
看了
上面有，对对对，
一个伪科的植物。那这个要做一个除耳的话，怎么做它呢？
就把上面弄平，然后
So this is a raw material, and I'm holding the chu'er.
然后4指，然后
You have to measure it
对
to understand where you dig
打
the
一个
hole.
眼，然后3指再打一遍，然后4指
So
再打一遍。
every 4 fingers, and then you dig a hole, and then 3 fingers,
4指
and 4 fingers again.
比这儿的4指要稍微长一点，差不多只有这种，这样的话也比较标准一点，一般都是4指。
Maybe you reserve a little bit extra place.
它也不能出来很好的声音。
In general,
对，因为
4 fingers.
你得加呼麦，然后它
So what happens if I make the hole in a wrong position? Well, the sound may be different, because you have to do the throat singing together of the music of chu'er. Where did you learn it? I learned from my uncle.
它是
My uncle is also a successor of intangible cultural heritage. Actually, he is the successor of chu'er.
那现在其他的，比如说小孩
So
啊，
it's
这个年轻人
it looks like a
他们
family
有愿意
business.
跟你学
And
学吹这个除耳吗？
your uncle also learned that
现在
from older
现在
generation.
怎么说呢，也有越来越
So
多的
nowadays, some
一些
kids also want to learn how to play
小
chu'er
孩也
with
都
me.
开始慢慢接触、慢慢学习这些乐器。
More and more younger
那你现在带了几
generation
个徒弟啊？
would like to get to know chu'er and want to
还有一个
learn how to
有
play
一
it.
个比我年龄大的一个
How many apprentices or how many students you have?
他也给我教了好多东西，对，互相学习，对，也有就是现在也有一些就是
Sometimes we learn from each other.
就是比如说在外地的人也在学这个乐器，
总之还是学的人越来越多了，
对对对。
真好。
And I realized that some people, even though they're not living in this area, they're also learning how to play chu'er.
就是差不多我看有100多个人，就是
And we also set up
对对。
like a WeChat group so people can interact with each other and share their learning experiences. Maybe you can add me into the
我刚刚
group,
听到
of course.
后面有
Thank
这
you.
个乐曲声，估计可能就是那个，刚才我们那个图瓦姑娘乌琴现在可能已经开始跟大家跳舞了，看看，哎，怎么声音
We
挺高呢？
just experienced the Aslan music. Let's see if the group dancing is happening.
哦，
Where is the
游
group
客已经
dancing?
散了，上车了，一波一波的游客。现在最多的时候，一天有多少游客？
I think they finished the last section.
有1000人。每天
So how many visitors you will have here
真是挺好
per
的。
day? Every day we will have maximum like 1,000 visitors.
那个你们一会儿还有演出吗？
有。
那我们一会儿再过来。我
Do you have
我
other
觉得
performance
听一遍
today?
没有听够，我一会儿再过来听一遍。行，
I will
巴图
join you
说
later.
奶酒好吧？
对
太好了，我们过去看看。
I will come
刚才
back
已经
later.
尝了这个奶酒了，再过去看看那个奶酒做出来。哦，在这儿。 我觉得有点迷路了，咱们朝哪儿走？在里边儿。哦。咱们这儿的含氧量好像比别的地方都要高，空气特别清新。难怪人家说。
I think the air here is very fresh, full of oxygen. That's why people always say that if you want to stay healthy, please pay a visit to Kanas.
哦，哎，它是这么一滴一滴滴下来。
对，一滴一滴滴下来，这样送。
The milk wine is ready.
这是头酒，时间快一点，这会儿已经滴了有小半壶了。
对，小半壶了，现在是最有劲儿的时候了。
最有劲儿的时候，不是说这个头酒它的度数。
So half of the pot is filled.
已经快下了好多嘛，头酒就是最前面的。
So what is the alcohol content?
慢慢下来，它就是越来越劲大了。现在是最劲大的，那个碗。
我们刚才。
So actually for the first 2 glasses, it will have the strongest level of the alcohol percentage. And for the milk wine we just tasted, it is actually made from it yesterday.
来，您先来，你先来。敬天，敬地，祝福自然万物。哦，这个是热的。
This is warm.
果然，刚才是淡淡的奶香，像开水加了奶香，这个就是。
For the one I just tasted, it's a little bit light, but for this one, I can feel the alcohol. What happens if I drink it all? You cannot feel your legs. Well, I have to finish it. So I will do this gesture. It's like a small ceremony. Best wishes to everyone. Thank you.
谢谢。真的有酒味儿。我觉得我现在。
Well, I still can feel the alcohol.
松香，小木屋的松香味儿，整个村子的松香味儿，感受着我们的这个奶酒的文化。耳边呢还萦绕着刚才的楚耳和。
At this point, I can feel the fragrance of the pine woods, and I just drink the milk wine, and also I just enjoy the music and the performance of the throat singing. I feel very touching right now. This kind of culture is very impressive. So we can see the refined traditions and the cultural heritage from Tuvas Village. This is a fortune to us all. For all of this treasures traditional Chinese cultural heritage, this is our pride. This is what differentiates us from the other parts of the world. I feel very touched and very moving right now. I think every one of us are shouldering a lot of burden. I really wish, if you have time, please pay a visit to Kanas. And also want more and more of you can join the team to preserve the intangible cultural heritage. We want to bring all of this cultural heritage alive. Thank you for watching.